Successful people who got crappy grades in high school or college, what are you doing now and how did, or didn't, your grades affect your success career? I got really bad grades in both. When I was in my early 30s, I had a big chip on my shoulder about it and started taking college classes at large. One at a time. The motivation I had to do well in them was incredible. After a while of that, I was able to take my new transcripts and use them to get into grad school. No one cared that I had gotten poor grades 10 years earlier. The Asian way. Teach college and give other people bad grades. It's the circle of mediocrity. As far as the grades go, nobody looked at them after I graduated. Edit. Some people are asking questions. After I got sick of my office job, I got into tutoring. Then found a job in a private educational company. Once I've had enough experience, universities were offering me jobs. You don't need a PhD to be a university lecturer. For example, my family law class was taught by a practicing lawyer, not a full-time professor. I am currently a scientist and enjoy doing research. I come from a country where emphasis is on memorizing rather than learning and applying the said knowledge. I failed a lot during school. Luckily, when it was time to look for universities, sister campus of a well-known university opened where I lived. Their entry requirements were not that bad. I got in and my grades improved massively as I could apply what I learned. Moved countries to do a master's and a PhD. And here I am now. I still curse my original country's style of education. Edit. Thought this would be buried here. But my fellows Indians found me. Yes. I am Indian. I'm currently experiencing this. AVG grades and can't find an internship which I require to graduate. My advice. Network. The best grades in the world won't necessarily make up for the lack of professional contacts. Everyone I know with good jobs got there because they knew someone. They were also qualified, but there's no reference like having someone on the inside who can swear you'd be a good fit for the organization. Hell. Some jobs are just about networking ability instead of any particular academic skill. Though, I'd advise making sure you nail down writing. They won't respect emails that look like a third grader on Red Bull wrote them. Went to for-profit college that didn't care about grades but also was world-renowned and had an incredible curriculum. Graduated college with a 2.7 GPA. Got my first job at a recording studio because I went to this school. Got a job at a radio station because even though my grades weren't great I know my stuff, and even walked out of college with a few certs. Now, I run my own recording studio and have several other side hustles. Turns out I'm not dumb. Just have a problem with authority. I had some serious depression in college that tanked my grades. I managed to end up with a 3.0 GPA. But I failed several courses in my major. I pretty much had A's or F's. I did well enough and interviewed well enough that I got a job. It has mostly affected me in that I'm worried I won't get into a good graduate school program because of my crappy grades in my major. I haven't applied. But I know I would do well now that my mental health is in order and I know my grades don't show that. I was a very average student through high school. And even more average during university. Even repeating a bunch of units as I struggled through. But I got there. And graduated with a degree in chemistry. Been a good ride since. Successful in instrumental analysis and managing laboratories. And now earning well over 6 figures internationally in the oil and gas industry. My grades never mattered. The piece of paper merely served as a key to many doors. I'm in IT. But I think my situation applies in most, not all, fields. As time passes, the focus gradually switches to your experience. After 5-10 years, your experience, track record, and fit within the org will become the key. No one will care about what grade you got in calculus. After 26 years in my field, my resume has one half line that acknowledges I graduated from XXX in 19XX with a degree in ZZZ. I barely made it through high school. I failed biology and physics. I have degrees in biology and physics now. 6-figure salary. I stopped f***ing off. Playing video games all day. Smoking pot. And chasing women. Not too crappy but good enough to enter foundation of a medical school. Some of the peers scored 9s plus in the national high school exam and I'm the lowest A scorer among all, 3 As. Never failed any university year exams but didn't score too well either. Just enough to pass the exam. Currently waiting for government notice to work as an intern doctor. Emo grades are important but the path that you're going to take, aka your dream, is even more important as it is the foundation where your future hold. I got all C's in high school. I work in imports from Asia. Chemicals and the kind of crap you find at Pier 1. By the way, you're paying about 4x what I do for the same shit. I dropped out of college because it was bullshit and costing me money. I worked 100 hours a week at 3 jobs until I saved about $15k and bought some Chinese crap and resold it for twice what I paid. Rinse and repeat. Edit. I'm self-employed. I'm a factory worker that owns property and is working on getting a farm going. Considering I don't have any loans out yet, I'd say I'm doing well lol. I live with my grandma since I need to get going on phase 2 of my plan. And she's letting me chill until I get my house built in 2021. Everything I own has been obtained through hard work. I dropped school once I finished high school. Studying wasn't for me, and spent most of my free time playing video games online. The idea was to become a pro player. I never got even close to a pro. But my English is pretty good. Thanks to that I have a very good job on the naval basins. I am a software engineer for 9 years now. Hate the job but it is a lot of money. I had bad grades in both but I do know that if I had better grades I would have ended with even a better career. My husband had a bad time at school, illness, and left as soon as he was able. I did great through high school. Got into an Ivy League college. Did very poorly due to ongoing depression and treated ADHD. Graduated in 5 years by the skin of my teeth. Switched majors a bunch of times till I landed at environmental science. Spent 3 years searching for anything related to my field while working my way up to assistant manager at my local Starbucks. Got hired by an environmental consulting firm who was interested in the management experience I had and just cared that I'd graduated. Not what my grades were. Did well there for 3 years. Got promoted. Moved out of state to a different company. Did well there but didn't enjoy it. Now I'm an assistant project manager at a major environmental consulting firm and love my job. Moral of the story. Do well no matter what your job is. You never know what might be useful later. Got mostly B's and C's in high school. Almost actually failed my senior year at one point. Dropped out of college 3 times. I'm in school part-time now working on my associates. Now work full-time as a systems analyst with 0 debt and loans, other than the car payment LMAO. Can't say the same for all my friends who went to college and got degrees and are working minimum wage jobs. I'm 26 BTW. Grades don't matter. It's the effort you put into your work and what you want to do that does. Edit. I recruited for Google for a while. The feeling of going to college campuses and telling students, especially overconfident or douchy ones, with double my GPA that they weren't quite Google material was better than nutting. I guess I'm successful at this point. I have $10k in retirement savings. Own a home and a car. And have a stable paycheck. I'm a bit behind on my retirement savings. But I'll catch up. I wasn't employed full-time until 4 years ago so it's understandable. I work in marketing and get paid $11 HR. My ability to keep my credit up and manage my money well has helped me more than grades ever have. I am changing careers and I'm planning to be a math teacher. Passing is more important than grades. Nobody asks my grades. Only that I have the credentials. How do you own a home and a car making only 11 per hour? I'm working as a digital performance analyst earning 6 figures. My bad grades were the result of me being distracted by girls. Not from me being dumb. I'm not successful but I love my life so I think I qualify. I failed my English in grade 12 so I didn't technically graduate. I had an abusive boyfriend in high school and broke up with him before the test. My entire high school experience was plagued with suspensions, drugs, and bad boyfriends. I walked into my final exam, worth 50%. Sat down, broke down crying and walked out. My parents weren't too disappointed since there was a glitch in the system and I still got to walk the stage. I took English upgrading the following winter and went to university for an English degree. Now I teach ESL. I'm a high school dropout but fortunately for me I have a penis that's as fat as a Pringles can. Seriously. So I think you know what I do for a living and it doesn't require good grades. 1 up just for asking a great question.